Thank you very much, and thank you, Madam Chair. So we've heard from previous testimony that attaining self-sufficiency in plasma products in this country at this stage is elusive. Even with a supreme effort from Canada Blood Services, it's likely that we will only attain 50% self-sufficiency. So the ongoing need to purchase products from the US or otherwise will be crucial to the survival of the system and to ensure that vulnerable patients receive life-saving products. From an ethical perspective, can payment to Canadian blood donors be unethical while we continue to purchase plasma products from outside jurisdictions?
This is a tricky problem indeed, because if we allow moral qualms about commodification and exploitation to lead us to reject compensation of donors in Canada, we are in a way fooling ourselves. We are merely paying indirectly donors on the other side of the 49th parallel, and it takes a certain amount of sort of blinders to forget that fact. And so I suppose this is not entirely unprecedented. Unfortunately, there's a lot of ways in which we benefit from what people do abroad that we don't permit necessarily here in order to protect our own citizens. But to the extent that we can, we have to weigh basically these questions of concern for our own donors, but also concern for the health of our own citizens who need access to these. And I have to say, I'm persuaded by the argument of the group of ethicists and economists who wrote in Appendix G to the Dr. Ballam's report, by that kind of argument. And I think there's a sort of a common kind of discomfort with the idea of people, especially those who are socioeconomically deprived, sort of giving of their sort of bodies into a system. On the other hand, we tend to be doing this in the context of gametes. We are outsourcing to the United States again the supply of those, and so we have to, I think, confront the hard question ourselves and decide. And it seems that the argument in Appendix G was a carefully regulated system that pays attention to ensuring that donors are not harmed, could adequately reconcile those tensions. And I fear that a sort of a blanket ban on the compensation, especially worded in its current form, which seems to foreclose reimbursement, removes the maneuvering room that might be needed for entities like CBS or potentially others to do that fine balancing to try to move in the direction of self-sufficiency, because of course you're quite right, at present we're not anywhere near where we ought to be.
Could I follow